Hey, sis. It's Kitamu, and it is time for us to get in the Proverbs today. This is the right place for you if you are a mom who is yearning to stay connected to the heart of God for your family as you're teaching and training, correcting and counseling your children. The book of Proverbs has answers, all the answers for us as we go about our days. Let's load up. Let's load up with wisdom. Here, we're in chapter 17 today. I'm going to flip my camera down so you can read along with me. We're trying this out, see how that works. And let me know how that works for you if you're able to follow along with me and all that good stuff. And we're going to go ahead and flip our camera down and we're going to get started. We're reading Proverbs 17 today. And again, I am reading in the King James. Let's see here. All right, let's get a good view there. Much better. All right. We're reading Proverbs 17. Better is a dry morsel and quietness therewith than a house full of sacrifices with strife. Very nicely put. A wise servant shall have rule over a son that causeth shame, and shall have part of the inheritance among the brethren. The fining pot, the fining pot is for silver, and the furnace for gold, but the Lord trieth the hearts. A wicked doer giveth heed to false lips, and a liar giveth ear to a naughty tongue. This is definitely right, jumping right in to that character, the character of a person. A wicked doer giveth heed to false lips, someone who is already disposed or predisposed to get into wickedness. This is like more than mischief, wickedness. They'll easily follow along with that false lip, that one that's got all these schemes. Whoso mocketh the poor reproacheth his maker, and he that is glad at calamities shall not be unpunished. Children's children are the crown of old men, and the glory of children are their fathers. How beautiful is that? Children's children are the crown of old men, grandchildren, in other words, right? And the glory of children are their fathers. And as a mom, I see that so much, that my children are so elated and they this glow with their father around, with their father interacting. When he comes home from work, they run and jump and are so excited. Excellent speech becometh not a fool, much less do lying lips a prince. Verse 7 here. Excellent speech becometh not a fool, much less do lying lips a prince. Mm, really encouraging that good speech, that honorable speech among our children, reminding them that they are not fools. They are princes before the Lord, and how the way they talk matters. The way that we speak, it matters. Verse 8. A gift is as a precious stone in the eyes of him that hath it. Whithersoever it turneth, it prospereth. Mm. Now this verse is really interesting because I guess I always think of it. It does say a gift, any gift. We've just come past Christmas, and sometimes kids get what they want. Sometimes it's not exactly what they want, and I mean it happens to everyone. But really being able to have that eye, having the eye that is able to be grateful. This seems to me, it really speaks to gratefulness, is that whithersoever it turneth, it prospereth. In other words, no matter how you look at it, it's a gift, it's a blessing. On a very simple, basic level, right? It was not something you had to get. It wasn't something you deserved, perhaps, but it was a gift. And it was a kindness that someone considered you. And to be able to turn it from, oh, I hate this, oh, this is not what I really wanted, and to be able to turn it in your attitude and turn your attitude around and say, you know what, this is a gift, I'm grateful. And that was very kind, and to be able to look at it that way. Verse 9, he that covereth a transgression seeketh love, but he that repeateth a matter separateth very friends. Mm, that he that covereth a transgression seeketh love, but he that repeateth a matter separateth very friends. Sometimes you don't always have to repeat everything you hear, because it can bring more separation than is needed. There are some things that have to be reported, but everything doesn't always have to be repeated and reported. Verse 10. Let's see, we can get our camera adjusted here a little bit. Verse 10. A reproof entereth more into a wise man than 100 stripes into a fool. A reproof, that's just a verbal correction, a verbal correction. A reproof entereth more into a wise man than 100 stripes into a fool. That's very telling there. How teachable are you? Am I? Can I just get the warning? Like, take that verbal reproof, that verbal, no, don't do that. No, that's not the best. No, better change direction. Or am I that kind of person that's got to be beat 100 times? Back in the olden days, they would literally take people out into the public square and beat them for foolish activity in the community. Do I need to be that one that has to be, has to get the hard way, right? What do they say? We can do this the easy way or the hard way. Definitely, I want to be on that wise man's road, to let the reproof enter in. Just take heed. Let your ear. Let's say a hard head makes a soft behind. Don't want to be that one. Let me take that reproof, the verbal, the gentle warning. Well, sometimes not so gentle, verbally gentle, but much better than 100 stripes have to get slapped around to really get the message. Verse 11. Verse 11. An evil man seeketh only rebellion. Therefore, a cruel messenger shall be sent against him. Mm. Ooh, boy. Sometimes these proverbs, as you read them, it's you begin to get a picture of people, your own self, your child, a neighbor, the things going on in the world and the news. It's really, um, you begin to see how alive God's word is. An evil man seeketh only rebellion, therefore a cruel messenger shall be sent against him. Verse 12. Let a bear robbed of her whelps meet a man. That's her cubs. Let a bear robbed of her whelps meet a man, rather than a fool in his folly. Mm. If a baby bear is separated from their mom, the mama is gonna come searching, and she is not gonna be happy if she finds you with her cub, right? So he's saying it's better for you to be met with in the possession of a lost cub, and you know that, and bears are not small and they're not friendly. Okay, so it's better for you to be found in possession of that cub, and to meet that mother of that cub, than to be caught up in the fool's folly. That is quite telling. There's so much rage that you're going to encounter from that bear, but you can escape that. Like, you got options, ways to get out of that situation, but to be caught up in the folly of a fool is uh it's very entangling, very ensnaring. My goodness. Mm. Verse 13. Whoso rewardeth evil for good, evil shall not depart from his house. How we treat people, so important. My goodness, whoso rewardeth evil for good, evil shall not depart from his house. Be conscious of that. Is such a warning, such a warning as we just engage with people. Don't like, don't be that. Hold on, they say that guy. That is such a warning. Wow. Don't return evil for good. The beginning of strife is as when one letteth out water. Verse 14. Therefore, leave off contention before it be meddled with. Mm. I'm sure we all have examples in our lives when we probably should have left off contention, right? We should have left well enough alone, because when you open that, it's like you opening the floodgates. The beginning of strife is as when one letteth out water. Therefore, leave off contention before it be meddled with. Oh, oh boy, remembering those situations, even just the feeling of that, like you kind of poke the bear, you keep going, keep going. People have done that with me, just starting strife, and then that water gets flowing. Boy, oh boy. Verse 15. He that justifieth the wicked. Let's see, verse 15 here. You can get that in the get that in the camera. Okay, it says, he that justifieth the wicked and he that condemneth the just, even they both are abomination to the Lord. Wow. Condemning the just and justifying the wicked, even they both are abomination to the Lord. Not just unpleasant, but abomination. Abomination. That's like the very worst. The very worst. Verse 16. Let me block the light. Wherefore is there a price in the hand of a fool to get wisdom, seeing he hath no heart to it. Wherefore is there a price in the hand of a fool to get wisdom, seeing he hath no heart to it? Why are you trying to pay for insight and understanding when you have no intention, you have no inclination towards real wisdom? Verse 17. A friend loveth at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. A brother is born for adversity. I think, I guess, sometimes people take that as brothers are born to cause you adversity. I'm sure siblings can feel that sometimes, but that brother is born to stand with you in adversity. That is an important message and lesson to instill into the hearts of our children, that your siblings are not born to cause you adversity, but are there to help you in adversity. That is always one of the things I've wanted my children to understand, is that you are that they are one another's best friends, that they should be best friends, that you should always remember, like people always say, that family first. And there's real value in that, because that family is your initial groundwork, right? Out of all the billions of people in the world, God chose you to be with these select few, and there's a reason for that, and that you owe them that amount, that loyalty, because they're yours and you are theirs. You are not a stranger in the world, right? You have people that know you, and that even in adversity, in times of adversity, your brother is there. Friends are there. For what does it say? A friend loveth at all times. a true friend, and a brother is born for adversity. A friend is there, a true friend, and why shouldn't your brother be your friend? Let's see, verse 18. A man void of understanding striketh. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be sure. I don't want to be. Here, I'm gonna put you back on the words here. Verse 18. A man void of understanding striketh hands and becometh surety in the presence of his friend. A man void of understanding striketh hands and becometh surety in the presence of his friend. That is kind of a business situation. The striking hands, shaking hands, confirming the deal. But if you're void of understanding, that's kind of a dangerous thing. That's dangerous. Uh, uh, Verse 19, he loveth transgression that loveth strife, and he that exalteth his gate keepeth destruction. Seeketh, I'm sorry. Let me start over on that. I'm not sure how I misread that. Verse 19, he loveth transgression that loveth strife. He loveth transgression that loveth strife. People that keep up mess, keep up conflict, keep that. They love it. They love like rule breaking, right? They're kind of like that rule breaker, that rebel. They're always keeping something up. He loveth transgression, like transgressing the law. He loveth transgression that loveth strife. And he that exalteth his gate seeketh destruction. The one that's always puffing his own chest and puffing up his own things seeks destruction. He that hath a froward heart findeth no good, and he hath a perverse tongue falleth into mischief. And he that hath a perverse tongue falleth into mischief. That's verse 20. 21. He that begetteth a fool doeth it to his sorrow, and the father of a fool hath no joy. We've seen that story played out too many times in the news, usually, right? All those people that are every person that gets caught up in some scam or some scheme, somebody's son, somebody's daughter, and that is not bringing joy to that family for the foolishness of that child. 22. A merry heart doeth good like a medicine, but a broken spirit drieth the bones. And we talked about merry heart in chapter 15. A merry heart doeth good like a medicine, but a broken spirit drieth the bones. I love this because there's some level of control, some level of your ability to manage the state of your heart, that you can manage the state of your heart. Excuse me. A merry heart doeth good like a medicine, and a broken spirit drieth the bones. That is very much a telling. I've experienced that so much, the dryness of bones because of a broken spirit. Verse 22, that is, but a merry heart doeth good. And choosing merriness, choose a song, choose a verse, choose an attribute of God to get your heart out of that dryness. Choose to look outside of your own self. I've learned over the years that most depressive type moods are heavy because they linger because we're so mindful about our own limitations, our own failures, our own inabilities. Um, and that's where we get stuck. Like if there's a situation or a problem that needs solving, if I'm the only resource I have, then yes, I'm going to be very sad. I'm going to be shriveled up in my thinking, a dried a dried bone, right? The broken spirit. A broken spirit dries the bones. So how do we heal that spirit? by remembering who is our great provider, remembering the attributes of the Lord, remembering the ways and the words of the Lord, getting outside of our limited capabilities, keeping our eyes, setting our eyes on Him. That's the way to a merry heart. Verse 23, a wicked man taketh a gift out of the bosom to pervert the ways of judgment. Mm. Verse 24, wisdom is before him that hath understanding, but the eyes of a fool are in the ends of the earth. A foolish son, verse 25, a foolish son is a grief to his father and bitterness to her that bear him. And that reflects back to verse 23 about the one that has begotten a fool. But a foolish son is a grief to his father and bitterness to her that bear him. Again, you know what? There is well, when the children are young, right? This is the time to teach them wisdom so that we don't have to live this out to be bitter in soul because of the foolishness of our children. We have the place, the authority, the time, the right, the responsibility to teach our children wisdom. If if partially for this selfish reason, I don't want to be this proverb. I don't want this proverb to be me. I don't want this proverb to be my husband. I don't want to be having my son be a grief to his father and bitterness to me. No. So that with that in mind, it makes us feel it makes us be much more conscientious about overlooking the sad faces and the crying, even the outbursts when we want to give wisdom to our children. Because we know on the other end of this counsel, I'm giving you this instruction, this correction. Oftentimes, wisdom comes through those means, and it's not pleasant. It doesn't feel good, but it must be taken in so that the wisdom can come. And that is the hard, I dare say, one of the hardest parts of parenting. The hardest part is the correcting part, the loving and especially their little babies. Oh, they're so dear, they're so darling. And when they're even older, oh, they're so creative and energetic. All of those beautiful traits can be drowned out if we forsake giving wisdom, if we forsake correction in the proper way, right? That's what the study of the scriptures is, and the proverbs are giving us the ways to correct and sets it. It really is setting the vision of what is like the frame of what is it that you want for the future, right? It's not just about today's feelings or today's emotions or today's um, happenings. What is the long term goal, the long term vision for how these people under our care are to develop? A foolish son is a grief to his father, and bitterness to her that bear him. I refuse to have foolish sons. Now, there does come that part we mentioned earlier. There is a part where the child has to make a decision. They have to choose. They have to choose. That is, I can't. My teaching is not salvation, right? I'm not saving my child. I'm not delivering them from hell. But it is still my job to show them the path of life, which is wisdom. Verse 26. Uh, Also, to punish the just is not good, nor to strike princes for equity. He that hath knowledge spareth his words, and a man of understanding is of an excellent spirit. He that hath knowledge spareth his words, and a man of understanding is of an excellent spirit. In the last verse, even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is counted wise, and he that shutteth his lips is esteemed a man of understanding. Such good counsel, Sometimes in certain situations, it is better to just say nothing. The power of silence. Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is counted wise, and he that shutteth his lips is esteemed a man of understanding. This chapter has a lot to do with our words and our responses. Thank you for joining me. Such a good counsel from the word today. Thanks for joining me. Leave your comments, ask your questions, give response. Is there a verse that you liked that I didn't stop on, or you had something to add? Please join the conversation. Join the conversation. The Word of God is a lively conversation starter, and it is life. Thanks for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next time as we go into the Proverbs for wisdom. Have a good day.